The number of patients hospitalized in Massachusetts for COVID-19 is now down to 210, but more than half are fully vaccinated. Here to talk about that is Dr. Todd Ellerin, Chief of Infectious Diseases at South Shore Health. Hi, Dr. Ellerin.
Hey, Dr. T, great to see you. So let's break that down a little bit. We'll take a closer look at the data. This is from the State Department of Public Health. And again, the number is 210, as in people hospitalized, and that's down from 3,300 patients at the height of the Omicron surge back in January. But now, looking at this week's data, 124 of those were fully vaccinated when they were infected. So if you break it down, that's what? Almost 60%. So are you surprised that that higher percentage is in the hospital?
Not at all, Eddie. And let me explain this. Imagine if 100% of people in Massachusetts were vaccinated. Then any hospitalized patient with COVID would be vaccinated. The bottom line is Massachusetts has over 80% of us are fully vaccinated, those who are eligible, 5 and up. So you expect to see vaccinated people hospitalized. Here's the rub, though. And you know, when you look at who's vaccinated and hospitalized, it tends to be the extremes of age, elderly, lots of chronic medical conditions. The people who are unvaccinated are often 15, 20 years younger. So younger unvaccinated people are being vaccinated. And again, just to bring home the point, only 18% of people in Massachusetts are unvaccinated, yet if you look at your numbers, 41% of people hospitalized right now are unvaccinated. So the vaccines are doing what we expect.
Got it.
All right. Now, we've talked a lot about wanting protection from vaccines and prior infections. Do we know for sure how long each one will last?
Shana, there was a recent study in the New England Journal just actually published today. And what it shows, and we know this, is that the vaccine effectiveness does wane over time. And that's one of the reasons why overall we may have to change our shift a little with goals. In the very beginning, when the vaccines first came out, you know, when we were hearing they were 95% effective against infection, those numbers have really decreased. In the New England Journal, you saw that the Pfizer vaccine out of the UK, basically the effectiveness dropped from about 85% at around 2 months to about 50% or so at 6 months. But again, I think the key is the vaccines are still working so well at preventing severe infection. I think that's going to have to be where we're sort of looking, you know, in the future.
You know, Dr. T, a lot of people were infected with COVID during the Omicron surge, and many had mild symptoms. They may think, well, COVID-19, it's no big deal. Is it safe for these people to skip the vaccinations or the booster shots or not?
Absolutely not. Even though we learned that infection does provide durable immunity, again, another study just published in the New England Journal, this time from Israel, 149,000 people from Israel, and essentially most were completely vaccinated, had 2 doses of vaccine. And what they showed were that those that were vaccinated alone, there were about 354 reinfections. But those that were vaccinated and also infected, they were less likely to get infected. So what is that saying? Infection plus vaccine protects greater than just vaccine alone.
Got it.
But again, one thing to remember, what you don't want to do is go out and get infected, because these studies don't tell about the morbidity, the COVID long-term, the hospitalizations, the emotional problems, separation, isolation, things like that. So still vaccine is the best way to protect.
Dr. Ellerin, I have one last question for you. I also want to ask about seasonal allergies. Tree pollen is a big problem right now. Do face masks offer any sort of protection?
So it's interesting. They actually do, Shana, but it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Here's the thing. When you go outside, the masks do protect your face from getting pollen. But remember, the eyes are exposed. The other issue is that when you bring the mask back into the house, what you can actually do is cause some more pollen release in the home. So you want to be careful to get rid of that mask, or if it's a cloth mask, you want to wash it. Just like COVID, these N95 respirators actually protect much better than even the regular, you know, surgical masks do. So yes, masks do protect against pollen, but be careful when you take it back inside and realize it's not going to be 100% because your eyes are still exposed.
Dr. T, thanks for your time. Great to see you.
Take care, guys. You